Hello everyone! I hope you're having a fantastic time on leg 1 of the Darwin200 voyage. I'm so excited to be joining you later in the trip. In the meantime, I've got some tips and advice to help you get along with your beach litter survey project. So here we go. So you might be wondering, who on earth am I? Well, my name is Kerry Mackay. I work for a charity called the Grab Trust, which is a group for recycling in Argyll and Bute. And although we do focus on Argyll, we are of course interested in things across the whole world. We aim to promote recycling and reducing our waste around the planet. So my official title is the Beaches and Marine Litter Education Project Officer. So basically, I do beach cleans. We work closely with Marine Conservation Society, City to Sea, Refill, you name it, Surfers Against Sewage. We try and work together. I think we can achieve so much more if we all work together. I was part of the Darwin200 voyage just last year, as you can see from this photo. It was an amazing experience, and I fully expect this year's one to be even better. And I will be joining for legs 2 and 3 of this year's voyage, so sadly I'm not there with you just now, but I'm really looking forward to meeting you and getting to know everyone in legs 2 and 3. I will officially be part of the dive team. I am a qualified scuba diver. I'll be doing lots of underwater surveys as well as plastic stuff under the water as well. And I specialise in education outreach for my job. So I will be doing as much of that as I can while on the ship around all my diving activities. I'm also going to be acting as a supervisor for the beach survey project for the young scientists aboard. I believe that there are several organisations taking part in the voyage who could all fill this role, so I would just like to offer my support and join in that, so you're going to have plenty of help. So, as you've probably been made aware, the young scientists on board are expected to do some projects. So, of course, welcome aboard. It's great to have you here. What we're looking for is one young scientist to lead the beach surveys for the UK Plastic Project on each leg of the voyage. You can work in a team if that's what you prefer to do. We're very flexible. It's up to you guys. We want you to take the lead. And everyone is encouraged to join in the surveys. But we would like to have at least one person who is by name in charge and getting everyone else enthusiastic about doing beach surveys for the plastic project. There's plenty knowledgeable guidance on hand. Like I say, I'm just one person who specialises in beach cleans. I believe we have several on board, so please just ask for help. You can also watch the video that I was part of from last year's project. We did the beach clean project then, so please do check that out. It's on YouTube, there's a link there. Well worth a watch, and it'll give you an idea of what we're expecting of you guys this year. So, plastic problem. I know you guys probably all know this, but just very quickly cover some things. Plastic never disappears. And consistently, it makes up over 60% of what's being found on beaches. It just gets smaller and smaller and even easier to eat, which causes all kinds of problems, such as this poor bird here, stomach full of plastic. And of course, it breaks down into microplastics eventually, which is another aspect of the plastic project for the Darwin200 team. It's in the food chain. Yeah, even your fish supper, I'm sorry to say, probably has plastic in it. We're really at that stage. So this survey is to monitor national efforts. As many surveys as possible would be perfect. There's all sorts of research going on everywhere with volunteers, citizen scientists, and you guys are going to be part of that, which is a fantastic thing. And of course, while surveying it, please clean it up to reduce the impacts. There's no point picking it up, counting it, and then chucking it aside again, so do clean it up as you go. There's also the science program information by Charlie. She was on the voyage last year. Fantastic woman. Really admire her. So please do speak to her if you get the chance and read that science program. There's so much information in there. Really knowledgeable lady. You could learn so much. Data. So obviously you're going to be going collecting data as part of this project. Data is really important. Some people hate it. Yeah, I have my moments hating it too, but it's really important overall. We expect you to present your results with the Darwin200 team as part of the project, and the results will also be fed into the Marine Conservation Society UK database. It's used for monitoring changes and great for evidence-based campaigns such as the 5p bag charge and stopping the cotton bud plastic sticks. All these campaigns made such a good impact because they were based on evidence. So, how to do a beach survey is really easy. You pick up every piece of litter you find over 100 metres of beach. Pace out 100 metres, mark each end, and make sure everyone knows where the ends are so that they know where to be looking if you're working in a team. If you don't know your 100 metre pacing, someone on board will be able to help you. It's well worth remembering, even just for hiking. And record every bit of plastic on your survey form. I'll introduce you to these in a second. This picture was from last year's voyage doing a beach survey, so it doesn't have to be a sandy beach. Any beach counts. Ideally, work in groups of between 3 and 5 people. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they always say. And trust me, it is much easier having someone dedicated to writing, while other people can faff with the plastic bags blowing about in the wind. So 1 person writing the form, 1 person holding the bag, and then 1 to 3 people litter picking. Make sure that everyone doing the litter picking goes via the person writing the form. It's all too easy for things to sneak into the bag without the person writing the form knowing that it's been put in. So the survey zone, this picture gives you a bit of an idea as to what we're looking for, is 100 metres in length along the beach, and it's from the strand line, which is basically where the big pile of seaweed is, or the high tide mark, to the back of the beach. Now, the definition of the back of the beach could be quite variable. Usually it's like where the grass starts. Do have a bit of a route in the bushes, because sometimes the wind blows plastic in there. But use your best judgment. Back of the beach, wherever you find plastic, within those 100 metres, it can count. And as I say, the beach does not have to be sand. It can be stones, boulders. Be careful if you're going anywhere particularly rocky, but it all counts. Any coastline counts. So the survey forms used to look like this. They're really easy to use. There has been a recent design update. They are basically the same, it's just changed colour. Marine Conservation Society have had a snazzy rebrand. And the items are grouped by material. So there's a column for plastic and polystyrene, rubber, cloth, paper card, wood, and so on. So that gives you a good idea as to where to look to put each item in when you're recording it by type. And then within that is listed off alphabetically. I would recommend you read over the options before starting. I always find the hardest bit of a beach clean is finding the right bit on the form to write it in, because there's so many options. You do lose it quite quickly. So have a bit of a read over the form to start with, and as you do more beach cleans, you'll get quicker and quicker at finding exactly where to put your tally. Record the item based on what it's mostly made of. There are some things that you'll come across that are a mixture of materials, so just go with what it is most made of. And put your tally after the text. It's a common mistake to put it in the total column, but that's obviously for totting up all your tallies at the end of the survey. So try and remember to put your tally just after the text in the box and keep that total column clear. As I say, separate column for the total. There is also a handy ruler at the bottom for checking the size category. Some of the items are listed and separated by the size of the piece of plastic that you find. So use that ruler to help you rather than just eyeballing it, because I'm certainly not very good at guessing sizes. And we're all about creating good scientific data here, so just use the ruler. It's right there. If you don't know what it is, or you can't find it on the form, ask any of us advisors or record it under Other and write down what it is and how many of them you found. It's really useful if you can take pictures as well. That way, maybe once you get back on board, you can ask someone who might know. Note any foreign or unusual items, and as I say, take photos if possible. So any tags, anything that could be traceable, that's really useful information, so we know where it came from, how far it's travelled, and what could be done to stop these bits of plastic getting into our oceans. Only record litter from your designated 100 metre stretch. That's all we want on the data forms. But of course, you can clean beyond this. Just don't write the litter you collect outside the 100 metre stretch on the form. We're all about cleaning the plastic. We just don't want to make the data bias, so only write down the 100 metre stretch plastics. We also need you to record other pieces of information that you'll need when we come to submit your data, like how many volunteers you have, the wind direction, and sea state. There's other forms that I'll show you that takes you through all this, so don't worry about remembering. So this is the top of the form. Don't forget to try and put the total weight of the rubbish bags that you collect from each litter survey. When I come on board, I hope to be bringing everything that you'll need for doing litter picks, so litter pickers, bags, all these survey sheets, and a little weighing thing, I can't remember the proper name, to weigh the rubbish. So when I turn up, it will all be there for you. In the meantime, someone else on board may well have brought things for you already. Fantastic if they have. If not, just do your best. The other part of the form asks for those other details I was on about. So things like the weather, what other things you found, whether there was any dead animals or even alive ones. So please do fill in that information. It's a summary form that asks for this information, but for every survey you do, we need this information on this form. The back of the form is exactly the same as the volunteer form. So my biggest top tip, use one of these per beach. Combine all the volunteer survey sheets together to fill this one in if you've done multiple. But if you're just working in one team, doing one form, use this form straight away. It just saves copying stuff across. So a closer look at the extra information. If you know when it was last cleaned, great, put that in. Chances are we're not going to know, so don't worry about that too much. Average width of the beach surveyed, again, fill that in, and all this other information is really useful for us to know. So try and put it on that form, and like I say, just ask other folks, check the weather forecasts, well I say forecast, the previous information, so to see what it was doing the weeks before. It all helps the Marine Conservation Society interpret the data that we're providing. Now then, risk assessment. It's really not as scary as it sounds. We do want you to wear strong, sturdy gloves. Again, I will try and provide these when I arrive. And obviously don't touch your face during the clean. We're all pretty well practiced at this with COVID now, but you know, take your glove off if you've got to scratch your nose. Wash your hands after the clean, even if it's just using hand gel. And don't touch anything that looks like it might be dangerous or full of something nasty. Beware of containers, drums. You never know, you might find unexploded shells or syringes. So do be careful. And be careful about lifting heavy or semi-buried objects. We don't want any back injuries. And also, please don't put sharp things in the bin bags. They of course just rip straight through, waste more plastic with the bags, and you can accidentally get your legs cut with sharp things in the bag and your bag knocking against your legs. So sharp items like broken glass, bits of metal, go into a separate container. I'll bring a container that I've got for little sharp things like this, but any type of container will do. You know, a bucket, a milk bottle with the top cut off, have a rummage around the bin, see what you can find, you know. Give a milk bottle an extra lease of life before it does go to the recycling. So here's some bits of risk assessment. Don't want this to scare you. It's just a bit of an example from the Marine Conservation one. There is a whole pack of information in a document that I will be providing to you as well. There's links to this as part of that. So do have a read over it. There's plenty of things to be aware of, but that's what we're looking for. Just beware and use your common sense. It's really not scary. You can download the risk assessment template, as I say, from a link in the resources document that I'll provide to you. Add anything you think of as you go along. It really is great practice for putting on your CV Employers love folks who are risk assessment aware. I will also include important contact information in that document. So make a copy of that document on your phone with these numbers, or if you can, print out a version to take with you on the beaches, because you never know what you might find, and it's far better to just be prepared rather than in the situation panicking trying to find the number. I would also recommend downloading the Staying Alive app. This app will tell you where the nearest defibrillator is. Hopefully no one will need it, but it's really useful even in day-to-day life, so I highly recommend Staying Alive app. Kit list. Like I say, I will provide these for legs 2 and 3. Hopefully you've got something that can do the job in the meantime. But the Marine Conservation's Beach Watch survey forms, pencil, ideally 2, because inevitably you're going to lose one. Clipboard makes it so much easier for writing, keeping the forms dry, because it's bound to rain at some point. We're going to be in Scotland. Bin bags, plenty of those. Good sturdy gloves, litter pickers, and the sharps tub. Extra ideas of things that you can do during the survey. I've put links to these in the resources file, so do check them out if you're interested in doing these. You may find that the beach is really clean, which is a fantastic thing, and it's still great to record, but there is other things you can record in. For example, you could do an egg case hunt and record what egg cases you find to get an idea of what animals are living in the sea nearby. This one's from the Shark Trust. I'll bring a version of it with me, but you can get it on an app too. It's called the Egg Case Hunt by the Shark Trust. It takes you through how to identify the type of animal that the egg case you found has come from. It can be really interesting to do, and hopefully I'll be able to bring some of the flapper skate egg cases with me when I come on board. They are really impressive, so I hope you look forward to seeing those. And even better, if you could find one on the beach yourself, that would be amazing. Seashells? Beaches and seashells are one and the same in many people's minds. But have you ever really learned your seashells? Well, Bug Life have a wonderful survey sheet that keeps it nice and basic to get you started. Unfortunately, their official survey has ended, but the ID sheet is still great to use. And of course, seaweed. If you love your algae, this is the one for you to have a go at. There is a proper seaweed survey that you can get involved in. Now, we'd like your findings to be part of the Darwin200 map. This is one that was produced from the voyage last year, and we'd like to produce something similar, if not even better, this year. So we would like you to summarise your data from each leg of the voyage. So whoever's taken charge of the beach survey part of the Young Science programme, this will be your job for each leg that you're in charge. You can update the live map as you go once it's been created, and we'll probably get you to do a little interview with the camera team before you leave the ship. Share the data between everyone that's part of the Beach Clean project, especially the leaders for each leg, since I imagine the leader on each leg will be different. So work as a team, even if some of you are back home on shore, back to reality, still work with the folks that are now taking on your job on the ship. And we'd like to create an overall results presentation at the end of the voyage. So this will probably be presented by the Leg 3 project leader. But of course, if we've done the little interviews with each of you as we go along, we can stitch it all together and you can all be part of that final presentation, which is what we'd really like, since it will be a team effort. So if you've got any questions, please do just ask. I'm more than happy to help, even while I'm here on shore, before I get to the ship. So please just get in touch. I'll provide contact details to you. I'm more than happy to help. Like I say, I know how difficult it can be from being on the voyage last year, that plans change, you'll be sleep deprived, seasick. Maybe it feels like a stupid question, but don't worry, just ask me. So on leg 1, while I'm still here at my office, you can email me at this address. Legs 2 and 3, I will be aboard the Pelican, so you can just come and ask me. I'm really not scary. At least I hope not, anyway. So thank you very much for listening to this talk. I hope you found it useful. Even if you've started your beach cleans and had plenty of advice, I hope there's been something useful in here for you. And I look forward to meeting you, hearing from you, especially those in legs 2 and 3. Really looking forward to working with you and sailing. I hope you're having a fantastic time. Do just get in touch. Any questions? Nothing counts as a silly question, so do just give me a shout. And have an awesome time. See ya!